Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome to Hot Tin Roof, the cat that wore a fedora. It's not actually titled that way in the window, but whatever, who cares. So, this is a noir, almost, I'm going to say it's a noir adventure game. It's got a little bit of puzzle elements, and it's got a little bit of platforming, but for the most part, it is purely about just walking, talking, and, I don't know, solving crime, I guess. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Man, that sound is annoying. You should answer the phone, boss. It's probably just a creditor. Boss, we're skinned. The phone could be my meal ticket. I ain't letting you ignore it. But what if I don't wanna? But thou must, boss. But what if I don't wanna? But thou must, boss. But what if I really don't wanna? But thou must, boss. But what if I really don't want to? It loops forever. So, this is Hot Tin Roof. It's a side-scroller. I was gonna move left and right while we were talking about this, but it's a side-scrolling adventure game. Very similar in a lot of ways to, say, Leisure Suit Larry, or you know, Monkey Island or anything like that. But, well, I don't know. It's got some interesting extra features. Now let's actually get underway, seeing as there's a lot of stuff to get through. And I can talk once the game opens up a little bit. So, answer phone. Bricks, you gotta help me. I'm in over my head and you owe me one. This is Jones. Emma Jones. Private Investigator. So apparently we're female. Oh, my. He said this would ring straight to him, if I ever need an investigator. Dear, this isn't good. Let's see, so... one of the things about this game is, kind of in the BioWare style, or, you know, pre-BioWare, I don't know, pretty much any kind of RPG game where you could pick multiple dialogue, we can pick one of two choices, sometimes three, I think sometimes four, I don't think it goes above that. And, like, some of them are fairly regular, some of them are fairly snarky. I like the snarky ones, I was trying it earlier, but if you notice, it just put me into an infinite loop, instead of actually giving me something particularly interesting, flavor text-wise, which is kind of disappointing, but whatever. So, anything he can do, I can do better, because he got fired. Alright, I'll take it at your word. I need someone down here immediately. There's been a death at the Ossified Egg, Penthouse Suite. I require your assistance. So we can either do, you know, we'll send someone immediately, or, yeah, options. And I'm generally only going to read out the ones that are specifically, that I'm, like, actually specifically using, because otherwise it's not particularly interesting to me, and we'll spend all of our time reading. So, we'll send someone immediately. Click. Let's see. Rude, but rich. I'll take it. Hey, boss. A case. Finally. We weren't that desperate, Franky. You're kidding yourself, boss. End of the month? Bet you don't even have half your rent. I might. You don't know that. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so, just to set the frame, we are a box person, apparently. I played a little bit of this last night, and, well, it wasn't entirely obvious at first. I thought we were the cat, but no, the cat is Franky. Now, I feel naked. You're gonna need your gun, boss. Feeling lucky, Franky. To your right, boss. On the shelf. And letting you leave without it. Your concern is touching. I don't care. Just don't get my own gun. I want to be able to hide behind you and yours, you know. Typical cat. Okay, so we do have a revolver. It's the wobbly MK 2/3 I get. Oh, the wobbly MK 2/3 I get. A revolver, sure, but thuds? It's a safety thing, Franky. All these rounds can do is break stuff, boss. Non-lethals. Can't hurt nobody. Where's the fun in that? That's why it's my gun and not yours. So, for frame of reference, we have a revolver, and we have some options here. AKA left or right. Now, for whatever reason, these barricades are right in front of us, and I guess this is kind of shoehorning in a tutorial on how to reload your gun. So, seeing as we are full, you have to press Y to reload the revolver, and it puts you actually into this screen. So you have multiple different ammo types, but currently we only have the Bearcat Thud rounds. And so what you can do is, you have to manually unload this thing. And yeah, I know it would be more efficient for me to unload, load, whatever. But at first I was like super confused as to why this is involved, like why you even need to manually load the gun. And to some degree it still seems kind of silly to me. I think a more like advanced ammo type system would make more sense, or I guess just, you know, select your ammo from a scroll bar and you have to press Y to reload. And maybe it's supposed to be so you can't reload in a fast circumstance. Well, not a fast circumstance, but like in a tight situation. Kind of hard to tell in that one. Now let's look around for a bit. So one of the things I really like about this game is the fact that it's a side scroller, but it doesn't constrain itself fully to that. Like if you notice, we have kind of like we can move back and forth along a Z-axis as well as, you know, X and Y. So there's, obviously it's a 3D game, there's some amount of three-dimensionality to it, which is kind of neat. Now we've got all sorts of random rooms to go into, and for the most part, I don't know, doesn't seem like there's too much need for it. Apparently there's a giant trapdoor here. And so I have never actually been back here in, like, as far as I've gotten. So my assumption is there's going to be a fair amount of, like, this stuff, specifically referencing this creepy looking trapdoor up above. I don't even know, like, what you would do for it. I guess go to, like, some kind of turbo attic. But, like, this thing is industrial. It's crazy. I do kind of wish it matched the ceiling texture or something, though. It looks really out of place given the room. Speaking of, I really like the textures in this game. There are obviously issues. There's like this weird, I don't know, rectangle just above the chief a little bit. But like overall, the wallpapers, the flooring, it all actually looks really nice. Unfortunately, the characters with their, you know, pure 3D minimalism kind of stand out in, I'm not going to say like a truly bad way, but it does feel a little odd on the very nicely textured everything else, to have the characters be pure, you know, just flat color on each surface. But then again, it's a style. So let's talk to the chief. What do you want, Jones? Let's see. Can we take a vacation, Chief? Franky is our newest private investigator, barely promoted. You're skating on thin ice already. And you want a vacation? Nah, we just like to hear you say promoted. Get out of my office, Jones. So, the problem that I have with this game, and, like, it's got a lot of dialogue options, like, there's a lot of stuff you can do. But, there's also a lot of stuff you can't do. So, we have a lot of doors, we have a lot of weird options, and, like, things that we could potentially do, if it would let us. And 90% of the time, we have, you know, all this stuff happening that we can do nothing with, which is kind of depressing. So, earlier when I was, you know, saying, what if I really don't wanna? There was no really humorous result for me trying to, you know, go off the beaten path as far as dialogue goes. It almost feels like I'm being punished specifically for, you know, not just going down the generic path. Instead of saying, you know, what if I really don't want to, what if I really don't want to, yada yada yada. And it doesn't have like a fail state in the game where it's like, alright, well, here is 3 months later when you haven't taken the case and the city's on fire. Or something like that. I feel like there should be at least some kind of reward for trying to be snarky or like go the other direction, and we'll see more of that as I go along. Now let's talk to Pips. Good evening, Investigator Jones. Let's see. What's with the boxes? Yeah, I think you were pranked, sir. Pranked? Excuse me. More specifically, Franky. Franky, being freshly promoted, is of course due for some pranking. Say that to my face, pal. It isn't my fault, Franky. You know how it goes. Yeah, I do. Clean this up. But sir, it's tradition. So is this. Fine, I'll have it cleaned up before you're back on your next assignment. Good to have friends, you know. Okay. Now one of the other options with this guy is you can do, I think it's, yeah, who are you again? Pips, Patrolman Pips. I swear it was this guy that you talk to and he gets, oh, here we go. So, again, there's a lot of dialogue in here. If you notice, I'm going down wildly different trees, and each has actually a bunch of different options as you go along. So, you know, default, leave, and then we've got two other dialogue options. Now, to highlight what I was talking about earlier, I can do, I'm not a Sir, Pips. Sorry, ma'am. Excuse me, I'm your superior. Sorry, sir. I'm not a Sir Patrolman. And you can kind of go into this loop where you're just making fun of him. But there's no, like, there's no point when the characters realize that they're in an infinite loop. There's no point where, you know, you get some kind of neat little dialogue option for continually looping through things. Almost like a neurotic, for, like, neurotic reasons. It's just, it's funny that it's there, but it feels like it's underdeveloped for no good reason. Now, we've still got a lot more stuff we can go into. And normally if you try and go out the exit, and I should have done this, Franky complains that Franky needs to pee. I've kind of skipped this for whatever reason. Anyway, phew, made it. Oh, actually, this is a good example as well. So we're going to get through this dialogue and I'll talk about it. So, phew, made it. Maybe look the other way, boss? So, these are save screens. So, whenever Franky goes to the bathroom, you save the game. I don't remember what specific games do it this way, but you know what? It's not an uncommon thing, and it's kind of a nice reference. I want to say Leisure Suit Larry let you save whenever. And I'm actually kind of disappointed that, you know, you can only save the game in bathrooms, because, well, there aren't actually that many of them. Anyway, I have no idea what you mean. I need to save my state. You get my meaning. I have no idea what you mean. Just wanted to write out a save file, if you know what I mean. I have no idea what you mean. This is how you save your game. Find a bathroom, use a toilet, boom. It'll be loaded automatically when you resume. Okay, pal? What is a game? Nothing, boss. Nothing. Don't worry about it. Best you never find out. I'm kind of creeped out right now. So, always wash your hands, boss. It'll make you feel healthier. Refreshes your boutonniere, and, you know, it's just polite. What's a boutonniere? That red flower you wear on your lapel, you know? On the left side, figure a splash of water. Sometimes we'll keep it fresh. I don't think we actually have a red flower. Unfortunately, we don't actually get to see the screen particularly often. Now, I'm curious about whether or not you can use the toilet without washing your hands, but I don't feel like dealing with it right now. Now, again, there's still a lot of stuff that I can, like, kind of go around to and take a look at. So we've got, like, a lot of destroyed stuff, and it's got this motif on it. So kind of looks like we're going to eventually be able to just bust through these somehow. However, for the time being, not so much so. Now, we've also got Root here. Oh hey, you found my shop. Usually take new hats. A few years to bother coming down here. Welcome. What's your job here? I'm the weaponsmith. If your gun ever jams, you bring it to me, and I'll set you up right. Of course, I'm so good at my job, the guns never jam. I'm actually pretty bored down here. You have the best job. Nah, it wasn't always like this. Back in the day, I invented some really cool things. Some really great things, and some really useless things. And it's all gone now, though. Lost. Lost. Where to? The Fire Jones. The Great Firestorm. Used to have wood boardwalks, buildings, the whole nine. Burned to ash. We just kept building on top, though. Bet the rats have tumbled down into the old city below by now. Okay. So there's like some interesting dialogue and some like interesting backstory that you run into. But so I was mentioning with the toilet thing that there's something specific about it. So I was talking to my buddy, actually, Sir Crest gave me this game to review. He got 2 copies and he passed one out to me. Now the problem is, you can actually get to a point in this game, you can frequently get to a point in this game where you've, say, skipped semi-crucial dialogue, and unless you specifically know what you're doing, as a result of it, you can actually miss major plot points and end up, like, never being able to get back to them, or if you do get back to them, it's super awkward because you already know what you're looking for. So there's some spoilers that I could talk about, but whatever, we're not gonna get there. But in that case, if I'd gone through the exit like normal, Franky would have complained about needing to pee to, like, force you to save your game. Alternatively, this way, I skipped that dialogue entirely, and suddenly we get into the bathroom, and Franky's like, you know, finally, thanks, boss. And for most players that, you know, did not actually bother going out the exit, they would have no idea why that dialogue pops up. It's a super basic, it's a basic example of, like, kind of where this game's writing falls short, or at least, I guess, the linearity of this game, or I guess the lack of linearity in certain cases. But still, it's one of the few truly major complaints I have about this game. Apart from that, like, it's actually kind of fun and kind of interesting. There are holes. Anyway, let's talk to Eric Fate. Please step back. Make us, you square. You're a tool of the wealthy. Wake up. I said step back. I'll get less polite. Eric, Fate, they have you out here? Somebody has to, and well, hell, I was the last straw pull. It's the job. Yeah, we know how that feels. Let me guess, rich old type, gonna kiss her hand when you walk in? I've licked hands for tuna and so bad. I hear ya. Well, back to it. Make sure to let her scratch behind your ears, Franky. Old ladies go crazy for cats. Sometimes I hate my life. Alright, so this is another one with actually kind of amusing dialogue for no good reason. And so there's actually some, like, important, dialogue in here. Or not dialogue, but, like, backstories. So let's go with, so what's this about? Equal rights, burn the banks to the ground. Honestly, Jones, I don't even know. I'm just blockading the street. Fact is, I should probably be protesting with them. Times are tight. I hear ya. Lucked out on a flush case ourselves. Let me guess. Rich old type? Okay, so we've already seen this. This is just generic. I'm trying to get it specifically. Oh, here we go. If I walk this way, if I try walking through the barrier, it gives me this dialogue option. So, hey Jones, whoa, if you cross the barrier, it'll give these people the wrong idea. But I want to. Doesn't matter. Look, Jones, doesn't make my life harder. It isn't, okay. No, it doesn't matter. Look, Jones, don't make my life harder. Isn't the gig at the ossified egg? Go do that. This'll be clear soon. How'd you know about that? The thin walls and windows, Franky. See where we're standing? I heard the whole thing. Now get going. Yeah, get going. Run home to Mama. Yeah, you're harsh and are mellow. Do not make me come over there, sir. Stay behind the barrier. So, it's not super obvious because all the character models are fairly, samey, but those are the underclass of the city. This game has, like, huge amounts of classist overtones, which is kind of interesting, and I'm really looking forward to, like, seeing where it goes with it. But it does feel like they could have explained it in a better way, maybe like an opening montage. Well, not montage, but like, you know, kind of the generic noir opening where the detective talks in not third person, but like about a dame or whatever. And this game doesn't do it, which is kind of disappointing because we have all of these, we have like, you know, oh, hey. Yeah. We also have a lot of barriers that like actually prevent you from going in. But eventually I will be able to go in here to talk to that dude with the eye patch who's shifty as hell. But instead you just get this kind of weird glitchy animation. Wow, there's like a frame in there where the 3D model just does not. Either way, okay, we're gonna keep going. And like I'm bringing up a lot of complaints here, but there are a lot of still interesting things that I kind of like. Now, see how there are all of these Giuseppe posters all over the place? This is Giuseppe, who's apparently a fairly political cat. A system wherein all receive a living stipend, paid for by our social productivity, and we compete not for bread, but for only additional comfort. Break the chain. Time to ankle boss? No, let's give it another minute. And is a cat not also square? Is not a rat a pigeon square? Are we all not cubic brothers and sisters? Yeah, we fight amongst ourselves. Justice. Time to ankle boss? No, let's give it another minute. Okay, so it's the same thing looping all over the place. And I'm kind of disappointed, actually, because, again, I want to hear more about this classist society, because the, like, basic plot that we've got going on here is kind of basic, and it's kind of interesting, but I want to know, like, the backstory for why all of these things are happening, and I assume we'll get into it. But there does end up being a lot of time spent hearing these things without actually, like, getting proper information. It's just like, alright, you know, everything's divided, you know, our investigator-type characters may be kind of on the poor middle-class side of things, and you've got this, you know, this apartment complex for rich people. So let's talk to the concierge. Ah, yes, you're the man the Bunce sent for, yes? Excuse me, it's ma'am, or Investigator Jones, if you like. I see, Investigator. Who are you here to see? So we can go into this dialogue option where, you know, we're calling him rude and offering to pee on his shoe. Well, Franky offers to pee on his shoes, and then he threatens us. And it just kind of just kicks us out of the dialogue. Now, we have to talk to him. However, now that we've already talked to him and he's like, you're the one sent for. Now we can go here and he's like, nope, for residents. And even if we're police, Doesn't matter. And we can't go through this elevator. We can't even go up to the penthouse, even though he's already acknowledged that we're the person. So we actually have to talk to him for no good reason. Which I guess makes sense, but it's still kind of odd, especially because your first dialogue option is to effectively pick a fight with him. And so I wasn't given a name, just a location. The penthouse? I see you, investigator. Who are you here to see? Now here's the problem. Again, it puts us into the weird, like, the loop of insulting him, or getting indignant, which, again, is interesting, but leads nowhere. So, a lady on the phone, penthouse. Yes, the buns. Shelly or Samantha will be waiting. Take the elevator, top floor. Try not to scuff up the floors. And then we can go back to insulting him. So, maybe in that case we can insult him freely without having to worry about getting stuck in a loop. But, either way. Let's talk to Shelly Bunt. Are you the one I phoned? Jones. Investigator Jones. At your service, ma'am. Excellent. Thank you for arriving so quickly. Let's get to the point. I can't find the will. The will to fight? My father, Edward Bunt's will. He died recently, and he left certain items to me. But without his will, I can't act on any of it. I require you to find it. Just like that, eh? You don't work for me, but your boss's boss effectively does. Let's not beat around the bush and just get on with it. Find the will, bring it to me, yes? Fine. So, again, if you notice, my options did not exactly sync with hers particularly well. There was a lot of time, the alternate options were much more indignant, and it felt like her writing was specifically keyed for those. And I feel like I'm complaining about this, but I'm highlighting a little bit, because I don't think I'd be doing this review due justice without pointing out some of the holes. Anyway, let's talk to Bunt and Bunt. Fancy meeting you here. I gotta go, Jones. No, stay, Franky. It's a great time to introduce your friend, Jones. She knows all about me, right? Is there something you need to tell me? You can't trust her, Jones. I did, once. Didn't even have a choice in the matter. It almost killed me. I got lucky. You won't. Trust me. Can someone tell me what's going on? She won't tell you, neither will I. This is more fun for me, Franky. You know what happens if you let on, right? Remember what I told you. When you got that hat? We'll talk later, Franky. So, apparently Franky's supposed to have a past, which I guess kind of makes sense. Because what would a character in a noir film be without, you know, some kind of dark past? I'm kind of interested if Jones has, like, anything interesting about him. Or him, her. Sorry, all of the character models look largely the same. Kind of wish I knew what Jones was specifically wearing, because it kind of looks like a dress with a belt on it. However, it's very hard to tell with box people. Now, unfortunately, that's again something we're going to have to wait on, because it's like, alright, implied, I guess it's just heavily foreshadowing. Either I'm going to have to, you know, truly deal with that somewhere along the way, or whatever, you know, it's super obvious. Now, we also have a pair of detectives that have already made it. So, evening, Franky Jones? Oh, evening, Franky Jones? Let's see, how did you get here before us? Ask her, not me. I don't want to be here, but not with her. The times are what they are. This is Samantha Spade. Welcome to the party, Jones. Took your sweet time getting here. Hey, it's Sam. Fancy meeting you here. Let's cut the act. You've got thin walls and times are tight. Of course we tried to scoop you. You can't hate us for that. Also, it's Samantha. I'd have done the same. Right. So, we'll be here. You guys be there. Whoever finds it gets the commission. May the best investigator, Jones, win. Right, Jones? Or, wait, did I say... whatever. May the best investigator win. Right, Jones? So, sure, but we're winning. Dang Skippy, boss. So, I guess we're competing with these guys. They're not doing a very good job with it, so we're gonna go with the bubblers. So, I love bubbles, boss. Wait, bubble rounds? Yeah, boss, shoot him at hidden stuff. Look for sparkles in torchlight, or anywhere, really. I love bubbles, boss. Why would bubbles reveal things? They're soap bubbles, boss. And if stuff gets covered over in dirt and muck, how else do you think you can clean it off? Rag and some water? Bubbles are more fun, boss. Trust me. Okay, so now we have our, like, kind of puzzle-solving device, at least number one. So, apart from just, like, breaking stuff, we can... Forgot, revolver's empty. Now, we have a couple of options here. and all of them involve this. Actually, we only have one option. So, we for some reason had that thing as invisible. Or, we had this, like, invisible switch here for, like, no good reason. And apparently it has our face on it. Not entirely sure why that would be invisible in this person's manner. But, alright. So, basic flip the switch thing. Now, originally when I first did this puzzle... Actually, this is a complaint. I feel like I'm complaining about this game a little bit, so I'm going to switch over to the positive soon. But there's actually, apart from that arrow, which doesn't pop up if you're moving fast enough in certain cases. Maybe it does. I don't know. I guess it's just kind of like you don't exactly know where the exit is, and there's like no difference in like the visual flare as far as the floor goes. So I mean, you're not going to get trapped in the room, but you can easily overshoot that one when looking for the exit. It's kind of silly. Either way, though. So originally when I did this puzzle, all right, here's another one. I didn't entirely understand what I was supposed to be doing here. It looked like the fire lit. And so, like, if you've never seen this puzzle before, that wall before, because you found the, you know, switches before you found the anything else, you'd say, come to this one here and be like, all right, you know, I lit the fire. What's going on? Of course, it's the wrong place. It's all the way over here. Here we go. So this is actually what you're supposed to find before you find any of the other invisible switches. Because now if you notice, that torch on the top right lit up, so we have to light all 4 torches to do something. I'm not entirely sure why they didn't have us find that room first, above all else. Because, well, I'm definitely going to explore everything, as many doors as I can get through. Just because, I don't know, I played many video games, and it's a kind of an ingrained habit at this point. But, the last one is up here. And then we can continue on. I kind of like the hidden object style of this game. Though it does kind of make the puzzles a little bit... I'm going to go with basic. Which is kind of disappointing in a way. It's kind of like, alright, so we have a hidden door, and instead of like looking for it and just kind of being clever, and it's like, oh, hey, you know, let's investigate everything. It's, oh, hey, there are these sparkly things that we have to shoot our bubble gun at. But it's still nice to have a puzzle. I don't know. I guess my point is, this feels very heavily like a point-and-click adventure game, which is good. A lot of games are, a lot of really good games came from kind of that pedigree, and so most recently, you know, it's been a lot of the, you know, Telltale stuff. So you don't really run into a whole lot of other options, as far as like that kind of gameplay. But this feels like an interesting departure, apart from, you know, the purely dialogue-based, and sometimes, well, actually, yeah, I don't think Telltale games even have puzzles anymore. It's all just walking from place to place talking to people. But this feels like an interesting way to try and shoehorn it in, even if it falls flat a little bit. But mainly, I just like the fact that it's very easy to go through this with a controller, instead of, you know, just doing point-and-click with a mouse, which I think would make this game feel a lot slower and a lot clunkier. But anyway, let's see. Well, it certainly looks like Edward Bunt's secret study, which is exactly where you'd figure Will would be, but the place is trashed. Right. I think the Will might have been stolen. Boss. Nobody trashes their own place like this. Who can you smell? It smells like everyone, boss. Cats, rats, Boxians, they've all been through here. Ain't no cleaning crew, though. We're standing in a crime scene. How'd they get in? Windows shattered inward. In a penthouse... Oh, the windows shattered inward in a penthouse suite at the top of a giant building, boss. Do you want I should draw you a picture? Let's check this scene. So, unfortunately, the first time I came in here, you didn't, like... When you first come into this room, you know what, you can't see it. I don't know. I was, like, a little bit over... Maybe, but, first I was super not concerned. I was super confused as to how and why this whole window thing... broken window thing works. But, investigate. It was broken inward, boss, not outward. Maybe, Shelly did it? They're a couple of rich types that don't even prepare their own food. Doubt they climbed in front of their building to smash the window in. How did somebody climb up? Yeah, boss, that's a wrinkle. Ain't nobody doing that without gear, but your guess is as good as mine. Where'd you get it? Window washers, maybe? Construction crew, maybe? There is construction next door. Seems like a good first place to check, boss. Now, the thing is, you can investigate this a second time, and you can select a different option. So this is broken inward boss, not outward. And then... Oh, right. So button bunt is also considered part of the rich types. We're what, 40 stories up? So if you notice, every single time I pick these, it gives me the same clue. And we'll get into the clue screen shortly. So if I come back here and just do the exact same dialogue, it does the same thing. I don't know why it doesn't just kind of have a, not a fail state, but like a C-track dialogue. It's like, alright, we already looked at this, you know, and, you know, the photograph doesn't pop up a second time. Not the end of the world, just another, like, weird thing to run into. But, as I was saying earlier with the whole, like, point-and-click adventure game, it does feel a lot smoother, and it actually does handle things quite nicely. I like the, you know, back and forth, the slight Z-accessing going on. The camera controls, well, there's no camera controls, but the camera itself is kind of neat. I like the fact that we've got, you know, 360 gun going on. Can I fire it straight off into the air? I actually want to test that out. Just because, you know, I haven't really messed around with what we can do yet. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's kind of neat. Franky will actually, like, open doors. Didn't even know about that. I wonder, can I get Franky to get stuck on the other side of that door? I doubt it. It was worth a shot. Either way, let's talk to Shelly Bunt. Have you found it yet? No. You don't work for me, but your boss's boss effectively does. Yeah. So we've already seen this dialogue. And again, kind of disappointed that, you know, it even shows back up. Considering how much dialogue there even is in the game. Anyway, use clue. So we've got penthouse, high suspect, means, and Franky's past. Now, this is kind of clunky, and, like, unless you're actually paying attention, it's kind of hard to see some of these. Like, the penthouse high subject just lights up a little bit, whereas the means actually goes full color. Which isn't the end of the world, but it is confusing. Now, let's ask the civilian about this. Okay, so you have a suspect. We've found evidence of everyone, or we can conclusively say a theft took place. Why are you wasting my time? Back to it, investigator. Investigate up something more specific. Hey, boss. You should ask me about that clue. I've got opinions. Okay, Franky, what's your opinion? Not right this second, boss. You know, when you're looking at the clue in a second. Ask me then. I'm missing something. Let the conversation end. Open your menu, go to clues, select the theft suspect clue, and hit that button that says Ask Franky, okay? I need to lie down. I swear, boss. This should be the last time. Just stay with me. Okay, so what you can do is go into this menu and go into the clue screen. Now, I'm not entirely sure why the clue screen isn't the most immediate thing you open up, instead of, you know, the full options menu. But whatever. Okay, so we can look at these, and there's some nice dialogue written about both. So penthouse dice means something let the perps scale a sheer wall and break through the window from the outside, ignoring the possibility of a costume trust fund vigilante. It seems like the gear used could easily be had elsewhere. Something related to construction, maybe. I'm making it super obvious on us where to go next. And Franky's past. She had never talked much about her childhood, really anything before I rescued her in the forest. Who's to say who Franky really is? But I know she's my friend. Button seems to know Franky, and according to Button, Franky has some kind of dark past. Button doesn't trust Franky, and told me not to either. So, ask Franky about this. I want to talk about it, boss. What's the deal with Button? Quit asking, quit asking. I can't. Bad things, boss. Things will happen to you. Me. Everyone. Okay. So, now that we've gotten that out of the way, which is pretty much just kind of like null state, let's go with the suspect. So, Franky can smell cats, boxians, and rats at the scene. Ask Franky about this. Oh yeah. It's rats, boss. Has to be. Why? You smelled everyone. Eggs hate rats, boss. They play nice, talk about how they're not cut out for higher labor. Some even imagine they're supporting rats by giving them garbage jobs, but they hate them. Eggs? It's what everyone calls folks who live in the ossified egg. Wouldn't say it to an egg's face, though. So if rats were here, then they weren't here legally. Bingo, boss. So it has to be rats. Alright, so it's kind of an interesting way to talk, to like go through dialogue, character thoughts, and stuff like that. I do kind of wish it would pop up when you ask the civilian about a clue, and, you know, Franky wants to interject or whatever, you know, pulls you aside instead. Instead, you have to go through the menu, which feels a little bit clunky, and almost meaningless considering we were just looking at that, like, what, 5 minutes ago? But either way, let's talk to Shelly Bunt. Use this clue, and... Yes, so you have a suspect? Yes, I believe we do. Excellent, let's hear it. Wow, me investigator, you got 30 seconds. I'm led to believe you dislike rats? Oh yes, despicable little creatures. But they have their place, you know? In the dump, processing waste, where things aren't good for anything else. Let's see. There were rats in the study. Well then, I always knew they were sad little creatures, but now they've resorted to crime? How sad. Well, go round them up then. Round them up? Details, details. Obviously, some aren't guilty. Just give me the culprits. And the will. Chop chop, investigator. Alright, so this is actually the extent that I've seen before. So I'm actually going to just wander the streets on the outside. And, oh, okay, so the whole city has opened up. Now, couple of things. I might as well just kind of wrap up this impressions video. So, first and foremost, I actually really like the expansiveness of the city now. I thought we were going to be super limited for quite a while. But it actually looks like there's a fair amount of stuff that you can go to. And due to a small degree... Oh, so this is going to be like for spying through windows and stuff. And there's like a lot of weird things that we're going to run into that I'm kind of looking forward to. I love the 2D side-scroller, but almost 3D openness of it. Because it's like, yeah, you know, I could just be able to walk by and stuff. But the fact that it lets me go along this way... Unfortunately, it doesn't let me scoot down that alley behind the building, but you know, whatever. I guess I just want to because... What is he doing? Okay, and he spawned the moment I... That was confusing. But I like the 3D openness of it. It's neat. The characters are interesting. The dialogue is fun. I'm really disappointed about the lack of either fail states for the dialogue, you know, like... Well, not even fail states, but like... the lack of amusing results as a resort of, like... So whenever... I'm really just disappointed that whenever I pick amusing dialogue options, it doesn't actually stay amusing. It's just like, alright, well, you know, we're gonna force you on track here. And there's also the whole thing about, like, you know, skipping certain things. If you can find your way to, say, an important clue or whatever, you can actually skip whole tracks of dialogue to get there. Which isn't like the end of the world, but it does make the game. It is going to make the game feel a little bit clunky. That said, I'm definitely going to keep playing this. I enjoy it enough that I'm going to want to do a full series on it. And I'm kind of hoping the plot's going to pick up, especially once we learn about, you know, Franky's dark past and stuff like that. Kind of like the two characters just awkwardly standing outside of the clinic, just shiftily looking at it. But the music, I really like the music. It's nice and it's nice and jazzy, nice and bluesy. It's been a while since I've listened to a whole lot of like jazz music, so it's kind of a nice change. It does get kind of repetitive, because it's effectively the same couple of MIDI loops, except for without the MIDI, that you would see in, say, the original Monkey Island games. But it feels like... this effectively feels like a nice... I guess expansion onto, say, Leisure Suit Larry, Tales of Monkey Island. Was it Space Quest? In a, you know, 2D side-scrolly feel instead of point and click. Which I actually really like the style, because it's a lot easier to move around, and it's just smoother overall. Let's see, the visuals are nice. I mentioned the texturing. The texturing is really nice. Like, this game is, for a noir game with, you know, a lot of 3D minimalism going on, it's pretty. I like it. And I like how, you know, the parallax works, the city is designed. It feels like this is I'm not going to say a hard-boiled city or anything like that. Like, this is no Sin City. But I like what they've done with it. I actually really like these tree bush-looking things. They're kind of neat. Now, the one complaint I do have about the city... Oh, looks like there's a series of catwalks back there that will be going along at some point. I hope. I'd be really disappointed if we didn't. But this does seem like the kind of game where you're going to spend a lot of your time going to anywhere that you can see. And considering there are a lot of these green platforms along the way, it's going to be pretty common that we're, say, walking along them, which I like. And apart from that, you know, the plot is interesting enough to keep me interested. Well, interesting enough to keep me interested. Plot is interesting enough to keep me, like, to make me want to come back. And overall, I don't know. I like it. A lot of cats in here. Oh, hey. Oh. This is a shop. So I'm pretty poor. Apparently. It's a purple dahlia. Probably a quest-related item. I kind of wanted the bearcat torches for whatever reason. Also, I think it had a picture of a grandmother on it. A grandma boxian. But overall, I'm really interested to see where this game goes. It's got a lot of characters and it's got a lot of dialogue. So, I don't know. It'll have some interesting things along the way. Probably. Either that or it'll fall flat, and we'll find out within the next couple episodes. But overall, first impressions right now, pretty good. I do wish that they didn't have the caution signs all over the place to prevent you from getting from, you know, to certain points. I wonder if the other direction is opened up. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I guess really it just forced you down that line so you can get the initial quest, and then it's like, alright, everything is just open world now. Cool. Of course, this does concern me, considering we might actually be able to skip whole tracks of whatever. Hello. You need to turn around. A sinkhole opened up between here and Chinatown. Chief says nobody gets by till it gets fixed. That doesn't apply to us. Look, I get it. You, Franky, even the Chief, none of you get me. But this is dangerous. Chief assigned me here. So I'm doing what's right here. Stay to this side of the barrier, okay? Yeah. I don't know. This bit's kind of disappointing, and I know why they did it. But I do kind of wish they could have had something a little bit more interesting than caution signs and a sinkhole. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me wanting to roam. Though it does feel like roaming might actually screw us up a little bit. Now we've got a restroom right here, so I'm going to save. What the? This ain't a restroom. This is a restroom. Okay, there we go. Okay, so overall impressions are good. I'm going to keep playing it, and I would recommend it if you liked any of the games I listed, you know, Monkey Island, Space Quest, or Leisure Suit Larry. I don't think it's going to quite match up to their legacy, but it's going to be a fun adventure game to, like, get into and, you know, see where it goes. I'm not sure what the price point is, but it can't be, you know, more than $10, $15. It was kickstarted with, like, a couple thousand people, I think. So I guess if you kickstarted this game, you're probably going to get your money's worth for it. It's a neat system. I'm doing my outro in a goddamn bathroom. Let's not do that. That's just gross. So I'm just gonna walk around looking at the city as we go by. Actually, let's go down this. Oh shoot, there's a little bit of 3D modeling texture issues. Oh, that was quite the quick transition. Weird. Didn't do it the second time around. God, I really want to see where all this goes. Oh, can I get up here? Nope. I need like a grappling hook or whatever. But yeah, no, we're definitely going up there. Eventually. Oh. That was why it was so fast. Because it was around this corner and I didn't even realize. But, yeah, overall, I think this is going to be a fun, interesting game. And actually, there aren't enough good adventure games on the market nowadays. So I'm kind of excited to see where this one goes. Because, again, if there aren't... Oh, wait. Whoa. Okay, I'm getting all sorts turned around. Where are we? I didn't even know that linked up. Like, I like this. The high lie with that... Oh, man. Some of these seem like they're going to be kind of charming areas to, like, walk around and talk to people in. You know, there's a bird called Haps. All sorts of things. I do kind of wish the, like, arrow to go down the street was actually... Oh, there's a little bit of... Yeah, there's a little bit of tearing when I, like, walk left and right there. Oh, well, not a big deal. Overall performance of this game is pretty good. I'm getting about 60 FPS, 45 to 60. Outside, of course, I've got, like, fairly solid computer. So I get the feeling... Okay, we were just here. Whoa. This place connects a lot more than I thought it did. But yeah, a little bit of screen tearing, a little bit of slowdown the moment you go outside. I think part of it is because this entire city is loaded in one go. Oh, that's super dark and kind of scary. Why does this factory have the high label gum factory, and it's got radioactive waste on it. Oh, you know what? This reminds me in a lot of ways of, oh, what's it called? Oh, hello. Where is this? Well, we can't get through anyway. I guess this is the rat workplace. But it reminds me of, oh shoot, some of the earlier, it was the Telltale one with the agent that already chewed the gum, and I'm of course forgetting the name for it. But yeah, no, overall, I think this is going to be a charming adventure game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. But you know, with that's the end of my impressions, pretty much. We could keep going forever, and really, we're going to keep going throughout the rest of the game. And well, I guess I will see you guys on that part. But if you like this impressions video in any way, shape, or form, if you want to see, you know, more of this, hit like, helps more than you know. If you want to see more, like I said, hit subscribe, because I'm going to be completing this game. And, I do lots of indie impressions type videos. So, let's see. And I also do, you know, lots of other games as well. And I guess, lastly, if you want to ask anything else, if you want to, you know, suggest any other, like, indie games for me to try out, or anything along those lines, leave a comment below, and I will respond. I want to talk to He's a pirate! Whoa, fellas. You're in a hard hat zone. Those fedoras wouldn't help you much if a beam fell on you. You're Jared the pirate, right? Well, for Pete's sake, that rumor going around. Look, yes, I'm a merchant marine, but no. I am not, nor was I ever a pirate. Real swanky eye patch there. Yep, that's what happens when you take a fish hook to the eye. Really? No, of course not. I got pink eye, and they told me to keep construction dust out of it for a few weeks. Worst pirate ever. I really like the dialogue in this game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. So, I will see you guys on the next episode of Hot Tin Roof, the Cat That Wore a Fedora, and as always, thanks for watching.